The silverware clinked like a clock ticking against my skull. Christmas lights reflected in crystal glasses, their cheer mocking me. Her voice cut through the noise, cold, final. "You're not getting anything in the divorce," my mother-in-law announced, savoring each syllable like it was a gift she'd been waiting to unwrap. "My daughter deserves everything." A ripple of laughter. My wife smiled like a queen assured of her crown. I didn't move, didn't flinch. My fork pierced the turkey as if nothing had been said. Chewing slowly, I nodded. And then, my son gasped. A sharp intake of breath that froze the room. "Dad!" His voice cracked. His phone screen glowed against his pale fingers. "Dad!" His voice cracked. The silence that followed was not ordinary silence. It was suffocating, heavy, like a curtain falling. I felt every eye turn toward me. My wife's fork stopped mid-air. My mother-in-law's smug expression faltered. I swallowed, quietly, my gaze never leaving the plate. Inside, something darker than rage began to stir. It wasn't the announcement that unsettled me. It was how easily they believed I had nothing, how deeply they trusted the illusion I'd let them see. For months, my wife had grown bolder, longer nights out with vague excuses, a perfume lingering that wasn't hers, messages half deleted, fragments left behind like breadcrumbs for me to find or ignore. I ignored nothing, but I let her think I did. Because silence has a way of unraveling liars better than questions ever can. That dinner was proof enough. They sat there, feasting on my supposed ruin, forgetting the hand that paid for the roof above them, the wine in their glasses, the very table they ate upon. My wife looked at me with a smug tilt to her chin, a silent dare, as though she had already won. I smiled back, barely. But inside, a truth began to calcify. She thought I was small. She thought I was finished. She thought she could betray me, hollow me out, and leave me nothing. They never considered that the silence meant something else, that I had already seen everything. I built my case the way a surgeon prepares for a delicate operation. Precise, bloodless, no movement wasted. First, her phone records. She was careless, leaving her cloud backup unsecured. I didn't rage when I saw the name. A colleague from her office. Frequent calls at midnight. Photos exchanged with timestamps. I stared at them until the images burned into my mind. Second, the financials. She had been moving small amounts from our joint accounts. Petty theft, disguised as routine bills. Enough to test if I was watching. Enough to know she thought me blind. Third, the whispers from our son. Children notice things. He asked me once why Uncle Daniel always came over when I was away on trips. The innocence in his tone was a knife twisting. Every piece slid neatly into place, and yet I kept the same calm face. I poured her coffee in the mornings, kissed her cheek when she returned late, smelling of someone else's cologne. She mistook restraint for weakness. But restraint is simply rage sharpened into strategy. The confirmation arrived in an envelope, a private investigator's report, photos, times, places. My wife's face pressed too close to his in restaurants, their hands touching in parking lots, hotel rooms paid for in cash. I sat in my study for an hour, staring at the evidence, my hands folded neatly on the desk. No shaking, no tears, only stillness. That night, I slid the report across the dinner table. She looked confused at first, then pale. Her fingers trembled as she turned the pages. Finally, she looked up, eyes wide, her lips parting in panic. You were spying on me?" I tilted my head. "I didn't need to. You left me every clue." Her mother's fork clattered against the plate. The silence returned, thick, strangling. I let her stew in that silence, her world collapsing in real time. Then, calmly, I spoke. The divorce is already filed. You won't be contesting it. She opened her mouth to protest. I slid another envelope across the table. This one contained the prenup she had conveniently forgotten. Ironclad, witnessed, untouchable. Her eyes flicked between the papers, disbelief turning to horror. And the accounts? I continued softly. Every dollar you touched has been traced. Misappropriation. Fraud. The lawyers will enjoy themselves. Her face cracked. The arrogance drained, leaving something small, brittle. I leaned back, hands steady on the table. You said I would get nothing, but it's you who walks away empty. That night, I stood outside, watching the snow swallow the street. Inside, voices argued, plates shattered, the house finally revealing its fractures. But I felt nothing, no grief, no rage, only the cool clarity of release. They had mistaken silence for weakness, but silence was simply the weapon I carried. I thought of my son, still clutching his phone, the Forbes article glowing against his face. He saw the truth first, without knowing it. I wasn't ruined, I was untouchable. And as I walked into the cold night, leaving them behind, I knew one final truth. They never saw me coming.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and comment. Subscribe now to Cheating Stories Insight World for more amazing stories.